So, in the famous story of Joseph and his brothers, this topic of this week's Torah reading, the story basically is Joseph is sent by his father to check up on his brothers. He has not been getting along with his brothers. They are jealous of him and the special treatment that he had enjoyed from his father. And as he approaches them, they decide they're going to kill him and be done with it. The older brother Reuben says to them, "Let's not kill him. Instead, let's throw him into a pit. Why do we have to have blood on our hands? This way, we'll put him in the pit, and that will be the end. Let nature take its course, but we shouldn't be the one to kill him." And they do that. They put him in the pit. Now, the Rashi, the commentators tell us that Reuben had in mind that when his brothers leave, he's going to come back and rescue Joseph from the pit and bring him back to his father. What happens next in the Torah reading is that the brothers sit down to eat lunch, and a group of Ishmaelites appear that try traveling down towards Egypt, and instead of letting Joseph rot in the pit, they decide to be a little more compassionate and instead sell him to these Ishmaelites. They'll take him away, and this way they don't kill him, but he's out of the picture. And that's what they do. Reuben returns to the pit and sees his brother is gone, and he's terribly upset. He begins to cry, and he's beside himself. And our commentators once again talk about Reuben's disappearance. Where was he when all this was happening? And they tell us that he was busy praying and repenting and learning. And while he was doing this, the sale of Joseph takes place, and when he comes to rescue him, it's too late. And the Rebbe learned a great lesson from this incident. He said that sometimes people can become very religious and very super conscious about their own spiritual growth, to the point where they'll leave a Jewish child in a pit to rot in the environment and let the elements destroy him. This is the story of all of us. When you think about it, in today's day and age, how many Jewish children are in the pit or in the abyss of spiritual alienation? They're not connected. The scorpions and snakes in the pit that threaten to destroy them emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And yet we are busy learning and davening, taking care of our own spiritual growth, like Reuven. Sometimes, my friends, you have to leave the books and leave the synagogue and go out there to the pits and collect these Jewish children and bring them back to their Father in heaven. We cannot be so preoccupied with ourselves to the point where we forget their surroundings and the reality around us. When there are Jewish children, by the thousands, tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands, who are alienated, who are far gone, they don't have any connection to Aleph Beis, they don't have any connection to Jewish life, to Jewish education, to God in heaven, to the Jacobs of the world, to an authentic Jewish upbringing. And they rot in a pit, they linger in a pit, threaten to be completely devoured. And we may find ourselves very involved in our own spiritual growth, and we just are oblivious to our surroundings. Sages tell us that Reuven paid a hefty price for this behavior, where he was doing a good thing seemingly, but he was doing it at the wrong time. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He should have been there first and foremost to make sure that Joseph, never take an eye off Joseph, to make sure he returns him to his father. But he got busy praying. He got busy doing teshuvah, repenting, when the Jewish child was lingering in a pit. That is the wrong thing to do. So there's a lot of lessons to learn from this story. And the first thing is, we have to balance our own spiritual growth with the reality around us, where there are hundreds of thousands of Jews lingering in a spiritual pit, threatened to be devoured by the spiritual snakes and scorpions that are in the pit. Let's go save them. And we'll worry about our own spiritual growth when we finish saving the Jewish people. Good Shabbos, and have a happy Hanukkah, everyone.